Hi everyone. If you've been paying attention in the book clubs, you would have seen that I've been asking for recommendations on what to read next. I have had some great suggestions of fantastic books to read. We're going to start today with one of them, but I will try to read the first chapter of all the books you suggest. So without further ado, the book we are going to read today is called The Girl Who Speaks Bear by Sophie Anderson, and this was suggested by Dolmy in Maple Class. If you've got other ideas of great books to read, don't forget to go onto the Google Classroom and answer my question. What book would you like to hear read? Prologue. I remember the bear who raised me, nuzzling my face into her warm belly, huge furry limbs shielding me from the biting snow. I remember the deep rumbles of her snores through the silent winter, and clouds of steamy breath smelling of berries and pine nuts. My foster mother, Mamochka, says I was about 2 years old when she found me outside the bear cave. She says I was standing naked in the snow, but with warm pink cheeks and the biggest smile. I walked right up to her, lifted my arms into the air and made a soft barking sound. Mamochka picked me up and I laid my head on her shoulder, wrapped my legs around her waist and fell straight to sleep. Mamochka says she knew right there and then that we were meant to be together, but I don't know where I came from. How can I be sure where I belong? Mamochka looked in the cave for clues about who I was or who my parents might be, but an old female bear was hibernating inside. Not wanting to disturb her, Mamochka crept away and carried me to her home at the edge of the snow forest. I love living with Mamochka. She's the best mother I could have wished for, but I often wonder about the bear. I wonder if she remembers me, maybe even misses me. I wonder about the bear almost as much as I wonder about my real parents, the ones who must have lost me or left me in the forest. One day I'd like to find the story of my past, and I hope it's something more magical than being unwanted and abandoned as a baby. I hope it's a tale filled with wonder that explains who I am and why I'm different, why I hear the trees whispering secrets, and why I always feel the forest pulling me in. Chapter 1. Yanka the Bear. They call me Yanka the Bear, not because of where I was found, only a few people know about that. They call me Yanka the Bear because I'm so big and strong. I tower above all the other 12-year-olds, and most of the grown-ups too. And I'm stronger than everyone, even the ice cutters and the wood choppers and the few hunter-gatherers who are brave enough to dip into the snow forest. About 100 people live here in the village on the southern edge of the forest, and right now they're all squashed into the square, preparing for the festival tomorrow. Snow sparkles and excitement fizzes in the air. For over 6 months, the village has been trapped by the fierce cold of winter, but tomorrow marks the start of the big melt. The frozen river will thaw, and the snow forest will lose its blanket of white. I'll be able to wander beneath newly green trees. I won't wander far, Mamochka worries if I do, but just the thought of standing beneath swaying willows and chattering pines makes my cheeks tingle with happiness. People call for my help as I cross the square. I stop to hold up wooden beams for the carpenters, assembling the stage for the festival show. I help drive poles into the frozen earth for the climbing contest, and I haul creaking sledges up from the frozen river, loaded with blocks of ice for the ice fort. The fort is already as tall as the village hall, but the children still clamber over its shining walls, building it even higher. Finally, I reach the centre of the square, where my best friend Sasha is stacking wood for the festival bonfire. "Hey, Sasha," I smile and wave. "Hey, Yanka," Sasha smiles back from beneath his furry hat. We've been best friends since I pulled him out of a nettle patch when I was 3 and he was 5. I rubbed his stings with dock leaves and asked him to climb a tree with me. Mamochka says that was the first time I ever spoke. Sasha is long and leggy as a heron. Until this winter we stood eye to eye, but after my latest growth spurt I see right over the top of his head. I never imagined I'd grow this big, and I'm not sure I'll ever get used to it. Shall we carry this one together? Sasha lifts one end of a long cut tree. I can manage it. I swing the log up onto my shoulder and my feet sink deep into the snow. Sasha picks up another, smaller log and we clump, side by side, to the bonfire stack. Sasha's youngest cousin, Vanya, rushes over with his arms full of twigs. He beams up at me, wide-eyed. You're as strong as a bear, Yanka. I lower the log onto the bonfire stack and smile. I don't mind my strength being compared to a bear's, not really, but it does remind me how different I am, and not only in my size and strength. Everyone else in the village was born here, and so were their parents and grandparents. They wear fur coats passed down from great-grandfathers and sleep under blankets knitted by great-grandmothers. But I don't know where I was born, or who my real parents are, or how I ended up in the bear cave. The not knowing feels like a hole inside me that gets a little wider every year. I heave another log up onto my shoulder and push away these wintry thoughts. Soon the bonfire stack is as tall as me, and I smile as I imagine the heat of it burning tomorrow. Sasha is laughing with a group of children who have climbed down from the ice fort. His hat is in his hands, and his feathery hair is sticking up at all angles. I recognise everyone from the group. There are only about 20 children in the village, and we all go to the same school and always have, so I shouldn't feel awkward around them. But I stumble as I walk over, then smile nervously. No one seems to notice. Maybe because they're busy making plans for tomorrow, or maybe because my head is so much higher than all of theirs. I try slouching and bending my knees, but I still don't fit into the group. I feel like a cuckoo chick in a nest of wrens. That was a fantastic suggestion. I'm really intrigued to find out what happens next to Yanka. I noticed that there was a map at the front of the book, and all of my favourite books have maps at the beginning. It usually means that the main character is going to go on an adventure and travel to some distant places. If you really enjoyed that story, you can go to the Amazon website and read the next few chapters for free by clicking Look Inside on the book page. I hope you enjoyed The Girl Who Speaks Bear by Sophie Anderson, and I'll see you next time.